So what do you think of this Missouri State team, the challenges they pose? Last year was a tough game on the road.
Yeah, they're really good. They're a pretty new team. They got a bunch of high-quality Division I transfers in, as well as some super capable returners. Coach does an unbelievable job with those guys. They play hard. They're super versatile. They can probably do anything they want defensively, 1 through 5. They got some incredibly dangerous scorers, especially from the perimeter, making shots. They're a good team. They play really tough. This is a great game for us because they usually lands, the game there was a quad one last year. That's why we're so excited about it. And I'm guessing by the end of the season, this team's going to be really good, have a good chance to be a quad one game for us here too. So great contest. We're super excited about it.
Any consideration to switch the starting lineup after the first 2 games have been prone to some turnovers?
We've actually started the games really well. We've started both games pretty well. And so I don't know if so you got a stew of variables, right, that are all contributing to an outcome that we don't like right now. Is I think we're the number 1 turnover team in the country, or close to it. And that doesn't bode well for us. But we don't want to pull the wrong lever and kind of suffer a bunch of unintended consequences. So we have some very pointed. We're going to isolate a couple variables and see if we can, make some headway there. And I think we're going to have positive results.
With Rudy specifically, what do you kind of attribute to some of his turnover problems?
Well, Rudy and I, since the day he got there, I talked about how important it was to share the ball. I was like, Rudy, share the ball. You have got to share the ball. And he is sharing the ball with everybody on the court. And listen, that's just part of the growing process. The way we play is complicated. We're pretty greedy about hunting for great shots for our teammates, and so that lends itself to a really beautiful end result if you get there. But it also, you have to function at a really high level to get to that end result. It's much safer to come down and kind of take the first mildly half contested shots you can get, but that's not what we searched for. And so we push our guys pretty hard, and we put them in jeopardy of suffering some turnover issues. And so we're going to grow in that area. And the faster we grow, the better, the more success we're going to have. But our guys' focus has been tremendous, and our whole team is contributing to the turnovers right now. And so it's a place where it's exciting to know where you have to get better.
Are you seeing the incremental improvements you want to see from game to game right now?
Yeah, it's such a tiny sample size, but I think we really moved forward in some ways that I'm super excited about, and we have, we also have a lot of things we have to patch up. It's going to kind of be 2 steps forward, 1 step back for a long time here with this new group. San Diego was disappointing for a lot of reasons, but to go to San Diego State and score 75 points, there's no team that's done that in the last year and a half. Nobody has gone in there and scored that. So going from a really stymied offensive effort against Idaho State at home, and then going on the road against one of the best defensive teams in the country, and we couldn't quite finish the win. But in terms of like the way our guys approached the game offensively, I was super excited about, and certainly we saw some growth there. But there's so many areas of this game that we got to get better at.
In years past, losses like that one would have almost felt devastating. We've seen you take some of these losses pretty hard in the past. Is it a different approach to losses this year with such a new team where it's kind of a process filling out?
Well, I think losses are just brutal. There's no 2 ways about it. And it doesn't matter what loss it is. It's just hard. I mean, we're not in the business of losing. If you're in that business, you're not going to be in this business for very long. But I am really excited about how we have a chance to grow. I mean, I think we have we know that we've talked about this so much. You guys are tired of me hearing about it, but kind of after a really epic, historic 3-year run for us, we were super successful, but realized at the end of the day we weren't even close to our ultimate goal, and so we had to break some things and start over a little bit and try and rebuild this in a new way. And I think that process is super exciting for us. I would like to rebuild this by winning every single game. So far we have not done that, but the growing process is super exciting. And the one thing we have on this team is a bunch of guys that want to grow and they want to get better. And so, every loss is really hard. Wins sometimes are really hard, but most important for us is that we can grow after every single basketball experience we have.
How have you seen Rudy respond to his turnover struggles early?
Yeah, unbelievable. He's been unbelievable. And listen, Rudy's going to take a little bit of heat for turnovers right now, but a lot of that is on me, right? That's on what I'm pushing him to try and accomplish. And it's really hard to grow if you don't step outside of where you're comfortable, right? And we are stepping way outside of where we're comfortable with the hope that it's going to give us a chance to grow into something we haven't been before. I mean, everybody that has been in a growth phase in their life understands that, right? You kind of get out of your comfort zone, and I've pushed Rudy pretty far outside of where he's comfortable, and he's been super willing. He's an unbelievable basketball player, an unbelievable young man, and we're pushing him to become even better than he is. And when you do that, there's a chance you'll be a little mistake prone for sure. And Rudy's going to write this story in a really special way. We'll talk about these early couple game struggles as his pathway to growth, and that's pretty exciting. I love that. I love the growth process, and he's been super engaged in that.
What's your interpretation of where he's comfortable and how you're pushing him to be outside of it?
Yeah, so I'm pushing him to be a really, really decisive playmaking point guard. And where he's spent most of his time is kind of being a combo guard that is almost a little bit living in a finisher space a little bit more often. I'm pushing him to really, really, where he spent a lot of his career trying to get away from a second defender. I'm trying to have him draw a second defender, draw a third defender, so he can really earn guys plays. And that's certainly new. It's a little bit of a new space for him. He's incredibly capable. It's just a process.
What's your assessment of the second unit? I know in San Diego they had some
Yeah.
struggles, but what do you expect from them tomorrow?
The same thing every time. I really need this second group to keep growing really, really fast. I need to get them to get better and better and better. Right now, for some pieces in that what's been the second unit, the first two games has got sped up. They've got sped up pretty fast, which who doesn't go to Viejas and get sped up? I mean, that's just kind of the definition of what they do. But I'm actually listen, I'm really pleased with our guys 1 through 18 right now. These guys are really locked in and growing, and this second unit is going to be really special. You're throwing a bunch of freshmen out there to just try and go figure it out, and that's super fun. It's super exciting they'll grow really fast.
In terms of Spencer and
Yeah.
the way that he's played the first couple games,
Yeah.
how much has he shown you so far this season? And obviously, it's early.
Yeah.
How much has he shown you to maybe kind of tell you this is a guy that we can really rely on when we need baskets?
Yeah, I don't. The beautiful thing about Spencer is we know exactly what we're getting every single game. And it's really high level also. But he's done that for 2 years. I talked a lot the first year when he was just trying to work his way into the rotation. I talked a lot about how fun it was with Spence because I started forgetting that he was out there on the court. Defensively, especially, early on, you look at a guy who's really kind of learned how we play and how to make plays for guys. His biggest issue early on when he first got here was turning the ball over, was possession, because the way we try and play is so challenging. But every single game he brought it defensively and had a huge impact on the game defensively. And in that sense, nothing has changed for Spencer Johnson. He's still going to keep building his game on that foundation. And if he does that, he's going to continue to be successful on both sides of the ball. It's when we get distracted by some other new shiny piece of our game and leave like the foundational piece of our game, that's when things get really shaky. But he hasn't. I mean, he just keeps getting better and better and better because every single game he walks in the game thinking, okay, I know for sure, check these boxes, I'm getting this done today. And that's never changed. And that's why his game is growing so much. So I think we rely on him on both sides of the ball right now to do a lot for us. He's been great in 2 games so far.
Okay, last question. I think in KenPom right now, you guys are one of the top 10 fastest pace-to-play teams in the country. I know you wanted to play faster. Is that kind of where you wanted to be, or do you want to slow it down a little?
I'd like to be number one.
Okay.
But I'd like to be number one. Part of the reason why we're so fast in KenPom is because sometimes we're just giving the other team the ball really fast. And so I'd prefer that we are really fast maintaining possession of the ball, but we're committed to this. We're going to try and do this. And it's really hard in our league because our league is traditionally not a super up-tempo league. So we're going to face massive challenges doing that. And we're going to have to be able to play different styles for sure. That's been one of the great things about our team the last 3 years is we've been able to adapt to the tempo of a game. But we're going to keep pushing the envelope. We're pretty committed to trying to do this. Thanks, guys. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you guys. Have a good one.